Welcome back to the channel. Today's story is one that no one saw coming. A jaw-dropping twist in the life of a man millions once admired. Rick Harrison, the legendary face of Pawn Stars, has just been sentenced to life in prison. Yes, you heard that right. The savvy businessman known for his quick deals and deep knowledge of antiques is now at the heart of a criminal scandal that's rocked the nation. It's almost unimaginable. The man who turned a small pawn shop into a TV empire now finds himself behind bars. How did it all go so wrong? The story behind the scandal isn't just shocking. It's a whirlwind of unexpected twists that no one saw coming. Join us as we take a deep dive into the explosive details of the case that brought down a reality TV icon. What really led to Rick Harrison's dramatic fall from grace? As we unravel the layers of this gripping case, we'll explore how one man's empire crumbled and how it's reshaping the way we see fame, influence, and trust in the entertainment industry. If you're as stunned as we are, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're bringing you a jaw-dropping story that you won't want to miss. If this video catches your interest, make sure to hit that like button, share it with your friends, and let us know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe so you're always in the loop for more thrilling content. Now, let's dive right into this captivating story. Rick Harrison, star of Pawn Stars, faced a massive legal battle after being accused of tax evasion, money laundering, and trafficking in stolen artifacts. Despite mounting evidence, including texts and testimonies implicating him in shady deals, Rick denied all charges, claiming he was the victim of a politically motivated conspiracy. As the case unfolded, public opinion divided, with some supporting him while others questioned his reputation. The fate of Pawn Stars remained uncertain as the network navigated the legal storm surrounding its star. Rick Harrison's fans rallied quickly, with hashtags like #HatFrayRick and #Dacketer trending across social media. Supporters gathered outside the courthouse, waving signs and chanting for the downfall of Pawn Stars. The shocking verdict handed to Rick stunned millions of fans worldwide. His fall from grace felt like a punch to the gut. He wasn't just a TV personality. He was a cultural figure who made history meaningful to everyday people. The man behind Pawn Stars, known for his sharp business instincts and genuine appreciation for the past, had now become the subject of a scandal that changed everything. But that carefully crafted image crumbled as Rick's legal troubles escalated, casting a dark shadow over the empire he had spent decades building. The final verdict hit like a bolt of lightning in the courtroom, the tension thick as the judge prepared to announce the sentence. Rick, who had remained stoic throughout the trial, turned pale when the verdict was read. His son, Corey, sat just behind him, his head buried in his hands, struggling to process the moment. Longtime friend and loyal fan Chumlee quietly stood up and walked out, tears streaming down his face as the reality of the situation set in. Even seasoned legal analysts were left in shock at the severity of the sentence, with some calling it excessively harsh. But the judge was clear in their words. This case was about more than just financial crimes. "You introduced yourself to the American public as a guardian of history," the judge stated. "But in reality, you participated in an illegal network, contributing to the systematic looting and destruction of priceless cultural treasures for personal gain." The weight of these words left a profound impact on everyone in the courtroom, as the reality of Rick Harrison's actions fully sank in. Even amid the chaos, one thing was certain. Rick Harrison's fall from grace had become an undeniable spectacle. "This court cannot overlook the severity of your actions," the judge had proclaimed, and those words would echo in the minds of millions. The moment marked the end of his career as the beloved face of Pawn Stars, and the world watched as it all unraveled. Denied bail during the appeal process, Rick was escorted out of the courtroom in handcuffs, his head bowed and jaw set, while the crowd outside erupted into a storm of anger and support. Within hours, the image of him walking out in cuffs flooded headlines and social media, solidifying the shocking end of his empire. The man who once epitomized sharp deals and history's value was now a cautionary tale. A segment of the public refused to turn their backs on him. Support groups began forming on social media, with fans passionately defending Rick and sharing what Pawn Stars had meant to them. "Rick taught me how to love history in a way that school never could," one fan shared. "We won't forget everything he brought to our lives, no matter what happens." This loyal following refused to let the scandal define his legacy. If you found this video full of surprises and want to learn more exciting things, leave a comment with the number 1. If not, leave a comment with the number 0. Now, let's continue the story. To them, Pawn Stars was not just entertainment. It was a bridge to the past, one antique at a time. Rick Harrison, despite the allegations, had brought history to life for millions. His fans continued to hold on to the image of the man who had made history accessible and fascinating. Rick's legal team wasted no time and immediately filed an appeal, arguing that the sentence was too severe for a nonviolent crime and violated his civil rights. However, the judge denied their request to release Rick on bail while awaiting the appeal. The saga of Rick Harrison, once a beloved TV star, continued to unravel as the legal battle progressed. Rick Harrison, denied. Was this the end of a legacy, or could there still be a redemption arc in the making? For many, the fall of Rick Harrison came as an unexpected blow, shocking and disheartening. He had been the trusted face of Pawn Stars, the man who made history captivating and relatable. His sharp business sense and seemingly honest persona had made him a household name. Now, that once untouchable legacy was overshadowed by federal charges, a high-profile trial, and a life sentence. For some, it marked the tragic end of a once great career, while others still held onto the hope that redemption could come with time. Loyal fans of Rick Harrison were quick to raise red flags, questioning the timing and motives behind the investigation. To them, Rick wasn't a criminal. He was a scapegoat, ensnared in the complexities of a corrupt and often unregulated global artifact trade. Many viewed him as a victim of forces far larger than himself. On the other hand, cultural historians and heritage experts welcomed the judge's harsh sentence, seeing it as a long overdue reckoning. For them, the case represented a crucial turning point, a wake-up call for a market that had, for too long, turned a blind eye to looting, forgeries, and the theft of priceless cultural treasures. They launched the Hearts for Harrison campaign, which rapidly gained momentum, collecting over 100,000 signatures on a petition urging the review of Rick Harrison's sentence. "We're not saying Rick is perfect," said campaign organizer Melissa Jenkins, "but this isn't justice, it's retribution. A life sentence for a nonviolent crime? That's not right." Rick's son, Corey, voiced his support for his father, adding, "My dad made mistakes, but he doesn't deserve to die in prison. He deserves a second chance." The campaign quickly became a rallying cry for those who believed that Rick's punishment was disproportionate to his alleged crimes, sparking debates across social media and in legal circles about the fairness of the justice system. The History Channel officially severed ties with Rick Harrison, canceling Pawn Stars and halting all reruns. In a brief but pointed statement, the network expressed deep disappointment in the scandal and reaffirmed its commitment to respecting cultural legacy. While the gold and silver pawn shop remained open, its once thriving reputation quickly diminished. Foot traffic sharply declined, and what was once a bustling Vegas hotspot became a symbol of controversy and scandal. For many, the allure of the pawn shop had vanished, overshadowed by the dark cloud of the ongoing legal battles and the dramatic fall from grace of its iconic owner. Rick Harrison stepped up in a way that shocked critics who had long viewed him as impulsive and inexperienced on screen. Taking the reins of the gold and silver pawn shop, Rick quickly demonstrated a sharp business mind. He reorganized the store's operations, implemented rigorous artifact verification protocols, and initiated partnerships with museums and educational institutions to promote ethical collecting practices. "We're striving to be part of the solution, not the problem," Rick said in an emotional interview 6 months after his father's sentencing. "We can't erase the past, but we can move forward with integrity." His actions signaled a fresh direction for the shop, one grounded in responsibility and a commitment to preserving the legacy of history while learning from past mistakes. Chumlee, Rick's longtime friend and fan favorite, opened up about the emotional toll the entire situation had taken. "I've learned everything I know about business from Rick," he said in a heartfelt interview on a podcast. "But I also have to accept that maybe there was a side of him I didn't see or didn't want to see." Despite the challenges, the Harrison family's focus shifted to supporting Rick during the appeal process and working to restore the reputation of the iconic pawn shop that helped redefine reality TV to maintain morale. Weekly prayer sessions were held every Sunday outside the gold and silver pawn shop. Loyal fans, some local, others traveling from hundreds of miles away, gathered with signs, shared their personal stories, and offered prayers for Rick's redemption. For those unable to attend in person, the family encouraged supporters to send letters, cards, and Pawn Stars memorabilia as tokens of solidarity. It became a movement of support and hope as the legacy of Pawn Stars, once a symbol of scandal, slowly began its healing process. "Small gestures like that mean a lot to someone going through the darkest time of their life," Rick said in a recent press release. "And trust me, my dad feels that love." Despite everything, Rick remained optimistic. "My dad taught me everything about business, about values. Yes, we made a huge mistake, but this shop has been a part of Las Vegas for 30 years, and I'm going to fight to make sure it's here for another 30. Rick Harrison's journey is now one of great contrast, starting as a struggling high school dropout, rising to become a reality TV icon, and now caught in the center of a shocking legal saga. His story has taken on the weight of a modern-day Shakespearean tragedy. A man who was once revered for his love of history, only to see his world unravel because of it. The question now remains: can his legacy be salvaged, or will it forever hang in the balance? This dramatic turn of events has shaken not only the reality TV world, but has also sent the once-thriving Harrison family business into turmoil. Without Rick Harrison, the sharp, pragmatic figure at its core, the gold and silver pawn shop has found itself navigating unfamiliar waters. Rick wasn't just the face of Pawn Stars, he was its heartbeat. Now, as he faces the fight of his life from behind bars, the absence of his leadership and charisma is deeply felt by everyone involved, leaving a void that's hard to fill. The shop, once a bustling hub of history, deals, and entertainment, now faces an uncertain future as it grapples with the aftermath of his fall from grace. In this challenging time, Rick needs the support of the fans who have stood by him for so many years. Whether you admire his negotiating skills, his passion for history, or the life lessons shared between deals, now is the time to show that admiration. The Harrison family has launched a dedicated website where supporters can send messages of encouragement to Rick, with each one being forwarded directly to him in prison. This is an opportunity for fans to remind Rick that, despite the hardships, he's not alone and that his legacy is still cherished by many. They also provided an address for those who preferred to send handwritten letters, hoping each envelope would bring a bright moment in a dark chapter, according to the family. These letters and messages have become a lifeline for Rick. He's always deeply cared about the fans of Pawn Stars, and the family recently stated in a press release that he knows your support is more important than ever. While the legal system is unfolding, the Harrison family remains strong. Corey continues to lead the shop with a renewed focus on integrity and education, ensuring that the gold and silver pawn shop remains a staple in the Las Vegas community. Fans around the world now wait, wondering if Rick can clear his name or if the empire he built will be handed over to new management entirely. Through it all, the Harrison family's resilience shines, holding on to the hope that Rick will eventually rise above the turmoil and reclaim his place in the legacy he spent decades building. Rick Harrison, born on March 22, 1965, in Lexington, North Carolina, went from a high school dropout to becoming a pawn shop mogul. His early life wasn't exactly a fairy tale. When he was just 2 years old, his family relocated to sunny San Diego, but the move didn't guarantee a smooth ride for the young Rick. Diagnosed with epilepsy at the age of 8, Rick found himself spending more time immersed in books than in classrooms. While he missed out on school, he made up for it by devouring historical texts like a young scholar. By 10th grade, Rick made the decision to drop out. Rather than fading into obscurity, he channeled his energy into learning the street-smart way. He dedicated himself to mastering business and history, honing a keen eye for spotting value and authenticity. Rick's hustle gained momentum when he teamed up with his father, Richard Benjamin, better known as the Old Man Harrison, laying the groundwork for what would eventually become a television empire. Years of buying, selling, and appraising fine items transformed Rick into a walking treasure trove of knowledge, sharpening his instincts to the point where he could turn a pawn shop into a cultural phenomenon. From high school dropout to reality TV mogul, Rick Harrison's rise was anything but ordinary. Rick Harrison's rise to fame was far from ordinary. From a teen dad to a TV tycoon, his wild ride began at 17 when his girlfriend, Kim, became pregnant, and the young couple tied the knot. Suddenly thrust into fatherhood, Rick embraced the responsibility with determination, setting the stage for the ambitious journey that would follow. Rick and Kim had 2 sons, Corey and Adam. However, after 8 years marked by turmoil, their marriage ended in divorce in 1981. Seeking a new beginning, Rick moved with his family to Las Vegas. It was in this vibrant city that Rick's famously no-nonsense father, Richard Benjamin Harrison, opened the gold and silver pawn shop in 1989, setting the stage for a new chapter in their lives. What started as a modest shop eventually evolved into the iconic gold and silver pawn shop, now the centerpiece of one of the most surprising reality TV success stories, Pawn Stars. However, those early years weren't without their challenges. Rick and his father faced difficult customers, shady deals, and more than a few dangerous situations along the way. Despite the challenges, Rick sharpened his street smarts, established a reputation for honesty, and became the go-to expert in Las Vegas for rare artifacts and collectibles. Observing the inherent drama and intrigue of the pawn world, Rick had a breakthrough idea. Why not turn it all into a reality TV show? Initially, networks weren't sold on the idea, but Rick wasn't one to take no for an answer. After years of persistence, Pawn Stars finally landed a deal with the History Channel. When it premiered in 2009, the show's viewership soared. Audiences were hooked by the fascinating deals and the rich backstories behind everything from Civil War pistols to vintage toys. Rick, alongside his son Corey Big Hoss Harrison, his close friend Austin Chumlee Russell, and the no-nonsense old man, brought a unique blend of humor and education into millions of living rooms. Rick's no-nonsense attitude and sharp eye for value quickly made him a breakout star. His iconic catchphrase, "The best I can do is," became a pop culture staple. But Pawn Stars wasn't just about entertainment. It was a crash course in history, where each item told its own unique story and every negotiation was filled with tension and risk. From pawn shop owner to reality TV legend, Rick Harrison's leadership turned a modest Las Vegas shop into a global phenomenon. It all began when the gold and silver pawn shop transformed into a must-visit tourist spot, attracting visitors from around the globe. Fans eagerly lined up for hours, hoping to witness a big deal or, better yet, snag a cameo on Pawn Stars. As the show gained momentum, so did Rick's business empire. With the surge in popularity came a flurry of new business opportunities. Branded merchandise, best-selling books, and even a restaurant. Rick didn't just ride the wave, he created it. His reputation reached far beyond the pawn shop, with appearances on national TV, magazine features, and high-profile speaking engagements. Rick Harrison cemented his place as a savvy entrepreneur and modern-day mogul. On screen, Rick was the steady hand, while his son Corey took bold, sometimes clumsy risks. Rick maintained control, keeping everything running smoothly with calm, calculated precision. Fans admired Rick not just for his calm demeanor and sharp business acumen, but because he embodied resilience. This was the same man who had dropped out of high school due to epilepsy, the one who once struggled to close even the simplest of deals. Today, Rick stands as a self-made success story, a household name, and the driving force behind Pawn Stars. His journey from adversity to triumph inspired millions, proving that with grit and determination, anyone could turn their life around. Behind the fame, however, lies a deeply personal story, especially when it comes to Rick's relationship with his father, Richard, the Old Man Harrison. Their bond was far more than just father and son. It was a partnership built on decades of hard work, shared values, and mutual respect. Together, they didn't just create a business. They built a legacy founded on honesty, hustle, and a deep knowledge of the pawn world. When the old man passed away in 2018, it was a devastating loss. Yet Rick didn't falter. He honored his father's values and continued running the shop, keeping alive the legacy that had resonated with millions of fans. Rick's personal life, while more private, has been filled with both highs and lows. After his first marriage ended, he spent 27 years with his second wife, Tracy, before they parted ways in 2011. In 2013, Rick found love again and married Deanna Bird in a lively, rock and roll wedding officiated by Counting Cars star Danny Coker. The ceremony was full of fun, with Chumlee stepping in as the ring bearer, adding a touch of humor to the special day. While Rick generally keeps his family life out of the spotlight, Fans know he's a devoted husband and father, always striving to find a balance between the whirlwind of TV fame and the quiet, meaningful moments with those he loves. But Rick's journey isn't over yet. He took things further by expanding his empire with the opening of Rick's Rollin' Smoke Barbecue and Tavern, located right next to the pawn shop. This move turned Pawn Plaza into a must-see Vegas destination, drawing even more visitors to the iconic spot. In 2011, Rick co-authored License to Pawn, Deals from the Vault and My Life at Gold and Silver, offering a behind-the-scenes look at the highs, lows, and wild stories that fueled his rise, from pawn shop mogul to federal target. This marked yet another chapter in the ongoing saga of Rick Harrison. Never one to rest on his laurels, Rick has always been driven. As the mastermind behind the Pawn Stars empire, he turned a small Las Vegas pawn shop into a globally recognized brand. With sharp instincts and a deep knowledge of history, Rick has appraised everything from ancient scrolls and vintage muscle cars to shipwrecks, gold, and even Super Bowl rings. Each deal Rick made added another chapter to his ever-growing legend. One of his flashiest wins came when he purchased a 2001 New England Patriots Super Bowl ring for just $1,600, later valued at an astronomical amount. But that wasn't the only jaw-dropping moment in Rick's career. He also struck gold, literally, when he acquired a treasure trove of Spanish gold coins pulled from a 1715 shipwreck. These iconic finds proved that Rick wasn't just chasing deals. He was chasing history itself. Although Rick Harrison had the expertise to handle nearly any situation, he never let his ego get in the way. When faced with something beyond his control, he was always quick to bring in professionals who could provide the necessary expertise. This blend of humility, sharp insight, and an unrelenting curiosity was what truly set him apart, making him not only a fan favorite but also a powerful and relatable figure in the world of reality TV. But even giants can stumble. In 2023, Rick Harrison's world was shaken by a bombshell that no one could have predicted. In a scene that felt like something straight out of a Hollywood thriller, FBI agents, IRS officers, and federal cultural heritage investigators stormed both Rick's home in Las Vegas and the gold and silver pawn shop in a high-stakes federal raid. Witnesses described absolute chaos. Customers and employees detained, agents flooding the premises, computers seized, and rare artifacts confiscated. The raid sent shockwaves through the Pawn Stars empire, leaving fans and critics alike questioning how the once unshakable mogul found himself at the center of such a massive scandal. The internet exploded when footage surfaced of Rick Harrison being escorted from his home by federal agents. Fans were stunned. The Pawn King, a man who had built an empire from a small pawn shop and became a household name, was now at the center of a shocking federal investigation. Authorities were alleging ties to a complex network involving tax evasion, money laundering, and possibly even the illegal trafficking of priceless artifacts. The investigation was reportedly triggered by red flags raised by financial institutions and a string of complaints from former business partners, many of whom claimed they had been kept in the dark about the shady deals taking place behind the scenes. What had once seemed like a rags-to-riches success story now appeared to be unraveling in the most unexpected way. Rick's son, Corey Harrison, was at the shop during the raid and later told reporters, "It all happened so fast. It felt like a movie." Despite the overwhelming media frenzy and sensational headlines, Rick remained eerily calm, choosing to stay tight-lipped about the legal proceedings and the investigation. Even in the face of growing speculation, he continued to manage the shop and maintain his public presence, refusing to let the scandal consume him. While no formal charges had been filed yet, the case was still under active investigation, leaving fans and the public on edge, wondering what would happen next in this shocking twist of Rick Harrison's empire. Rick Harrison, the rise, the raid, and the reckoning. Despite the whirlwind of speculation and controversy surrounding him, one thing remained undeniable: Rick Harrison was one of the most iconic and influential figures in reality television. From a quiet, book-loving kid with epilepsy to the mastermind behind Pawn Stars, Rick's story has always been about resilience, intelligence, and the hustle to survive in a world of ever-shifting risks. His journey was a testament to the power of persistence, turning a small pawn shop in Las Vegas into a global phenomenon. But with fame came scrutiny, and as the raid unfolded, it became clear that even the most successful entrepreneurs could be brought down by the very empire they built. The reckoning is far from over, and whether Rick Harrison will rise again or fall from grace remains to be seen. But in 2023, the game changed. Following the shocking federal raid on his home and shop, the History Channel made the difficult decision to halt Pawn Stars and issued a vague yet serious statement, saying they were closely monitoring the situation and would reassess as more information became available. The truth was slowly but surely emerging, and it wasn't looking good for Rick Harrison. As the investigation unfolded, the once thriving Las Vegas shop, once a must-see destination for tourists, suffered a significant blow. Foot traffic plummeted, and what had been an iconic hotspot for fans of the show became ground zero in a legal firestorm. The future of Pawn Stars hung in the balance as the public and fans awaited clarity on the shocking allegations against the pawn shop mogul. Rick's team moved swiftly in the face of the growing scandal. His high-powered attorney, David Marshall, a well-known Vegas lawyer renowned for defending celebrities and high-profile entrepreneurs, immediately stepped in to defend his client. Marshall vehemently criticized the accusations, calling the investigation a misunderstanding that would soon be cleared up. He assured the public that Rick has always done business by the book, aiming to restore some semblance of trust in the man once hailed as a self-made success. With the legal battle just beginning, Marshall's words were a first attempt to control the narrative and shield Rick from the mounting public scrutiny. But then the real bombs began to drop. Investigators revealed they had uncovered evidence of an elaborate scheme in which Rick was accused of deliberately undervaluing historical artifacts to evade taxes, only to secretly resell them at their full market value. The allegations didn't stop there. Even more troubling were claims that Rick had knowingly purchased stolen relics, including museum-grade documents and valuable antiques, through shady middlemen. The accusations painted a picture of a calculated operation designed to exploit both the tax system and the very artifacts Rick had once claimed to cherish. The once untouchable Pawn King was now facing serious criminal charges that could tear down his empire. Court filings soon revealed that the damning information had come from a former employee-turned-whistleblower. This insider claimed to have been directly involved in the shady transactions and even detailed a separate accounting system specifically designed to keep high-value deals off the official books. The gravity of the accusations was immense, and Rick was arrested. However, he was released on bail the following day, allowing him to prepare for what would become a prolonged legal battle. Rick found himself facing a long list of charges: tax evasion, money laundering, trafficking in stolen property, and conspiracy to illegally trade in historic artifacts. The trial lasted nearly a year, with each new revelation adding fuel to the media frenzy. Prosecutors presented encrypted messages, alternative financial records, and testimony from Rick's former executive colleagues that painted a portrait of a man who had used his empire for illicit gains. The courtroom became a spectacle, attracting endless media coverage as the once-revered Pawn Stars patriarch stood accused of some of the most serious crimes in the business world. The rise and fall of Rick Harrison, along with the uncertain future of his empire, is more than just a celebrity scandal. It's a stark reflection of the fragile boundary between ambition and ethics, success and scandal. Whether you believe he was wrongfully targeted or that he must ultimately face the consequences of his actions, one thing is undeniable. Pawn Stars changed the reality TV landscape, and its impact remains undeniable. With Rick Harrison's legacy still up in the air, the lingering question is, can redemption truly follow destruction? The story is far from over, and as we continue to track this shocking and unforgettable chapter in reality TV history, one thing is certain: its effects will reverberate long after the cameras stop rolling. Stay with us as we keep following one of the most dramatic and captivating sagas ever seen on television. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you found this story fascinating, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and spread the word. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so be sure to leave a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on any exciting new videos. See you in the next one.